All right, let's jump right into a really interesting question. We live in this world of pre-orders, right? Wait lists, crowdfunding. But have you ever really stopped to think about the weird magic that makes it all work?
I mean, seriously, think about it. How is it even legally possible to buy a video game that's still being coded, or a new phone that's a year away from release, or even a car that hasn't even been built? It feels like a total paradox.
You and we click pre-order all the time without a second thought. But behind that one simple click is this fascinating, really fundamental legal idea that powers a massive chunk of our global economy.
And the answer to this whole paradox? Well, it comes down to two simple words: future goods. This is the key that unlocks this entire concept.
Okay, so if we look at the official legal language, which comes from the Sale of Goods Act, it's actually very specific. It says future goods are things that are made, produced, or even just gotten by the seller after the contract is signed. That after is the important part.
Let's, break that legal speak down. Basically, future goods is anything the seller doesn't actually have in their hands right now. They might have to build it or grow it or maybe even go buy it from someone else before they can finally get it to you.
So in plain English, we're just talking about things that are still a work in progress. They haven't been finalized, they're not sitting in some warehouse with your name on a box, and they are definitely not ready to ship out the door.
And this is where we get to the big aha moment of this whole thing. See, when you pre-order something, you're not technically buying it, at least not yet. The easiest way to get it is to think about a bakery. If you walk in and buy a croissant that's sitting right there in the display case, that's a sale. It exists, you pay, you get it, boom. But ordering a custom-designed wedding cake for next month, well, that's something else entirely. And this is the core difference. A sale is instant. Ownership of the thing transfers to you right then and there. But an agreement to sell, that's a promise. It's a contract that says ownership will be transferred at some point in the future, once the item actually exists.
That's the good takeaway. Every single time you pre-order that new phone or that new game, you aren't making a purchase in that moment. What you're doing is entering into a contract, an agreement to sell. You're buying the seller's promise. Okay, so I know this might sound like some small, nitpicky legal detail, but trust me, understanding this is huge. This concept is the bedrock for massive, massive global industries. Yeah, this whole idea of future goods goes way, way beyond our consumer electronics and entertainment. It's kind of like a silent engine that's always running in the background of our entire economy. Think about a farmer, for example. A farmer can sell an entire crop of corn months before it's even ready to be harvested. This lets them lock in their income, plan for the future, all based on a promise for goods that are literally still growing in a field. And it's the exact same thing for manufacturing. A car company can sell you a vehicle that's still just a collection of parts on an assembly line. This type of contract is what allows businesses to plan ahead and keeps the wheels of commerce turning smoothly. So the bottom line is this concept is absolutely vital. It lets businesses manage their production schedules and their finances. It creates stability in the market, and it's the foundation for pretty much everything, from farming to the latest tech breakthroughs. Now, before we wrap up, I want to give you a really simple tool so you can remember the core of how all this future goods stuff works. It's just a simple little acronym that breaks down the three essential parts of any of these transactions. All you have to remember is NIA. N is for the goods are not yet in existence. I is for they will be identified in the future, meaning your specific item will be picked out later. And A is for it's an agreement to sell, not an actual immediate sale. NIA. Simple as that. And that brings us right back to where we started, to our little paradox. The next time you see that pre-order button, you'll know exactly what's happening. You're not buying a thing, you're buying a legally binding promise. And, that simple shift in thinking kind of changes everything.